10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Landers has our exclusive report.
DeJuan Wasson wants you to know he's not a monster. DeJuan Wasson says he was coming home from a neighborhood market when suddenly his world changed forever. The car he borrowed from a friend, he says, suddenly veered toward a group of children.
Start going off real closer to the cars and stuff. And I realized it, and I cut the wheel like that, and then all of the kids were standing out there, man. And it sent the car straight over at where they were standing at outside in the grass, man.
We have team coverage tonight, and we begin with 10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Landers live at the scene of the shooting in Whitehall. Kevin?
Dave, Patrol Officer Terry McDowell who was killed here tonight, leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Police say he was wearing a bulletproof vest when he came to this house. Suddenly, gunfire came from behind the door. A dead male suspect under a white sheet. Blood on the driver's side of this car and near the door of this home. It is the end result of a shootout with 2 Whitehall police officers. One officer fatally shot.
A vast sea of red and blue lights. Hundreds of police officers from all across the country came to say goodbye to Officer Terry McDowell, badge number 32. A horse-drawn caisson carried McDowell to his final resting place.
The search continues tonight for the driver who struck and killed Lieutenant Claypool. The lieutenant was investigating an accident on Refugee Road when he was hit early Sunday morning.
Lieutenant Christopher Neal Claypool was among our finest.
We do not want the tragedy of his death to overshadow the celebration of his life.
The rioting started about 1:30 this morning along Chittenden Avenue, just off of High Street. Police armed with riot gear fired tear gas and knee knockers into the crowd. 10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Kim Vaughn has tonight's top story.
It's a familiar scene. Partiers just north of the OSU campus get out of control.
I would just like to say that people are idiots.
Leaving police to respond. Armed with wooden bullets and tear gas.
Guys, get the hell out of here. You're going to get hit. You have to leave the area now.
More on the developing story 10 TV Eyewitness News broke 20 minutes ago. Ohio State Buckeye starting quarterback Steve Balisari was stopped early today by OSU police and cited with operating a motor vehicle under the influence.
He's been pulled from tomorrow's game against Illinois. We have team coverage on this story. 10 TV's Jeff Hogan has more on what this means for the Buckeyes. But first, Kelly Hudson live with more on what happened. Kelly.
Jerry, we just spoke with Assistant City Attorney Steve McIntosh, and we have a copy of Belisari's ticket here. We know that he was arrested and released after he was questioned early this morning after he was picked up.
A huge day in the history of OSU football. As 10 TV first reported, John Cooper is out as head football coach of Ohio State.
Good afternoon. Chuck Strickler along with Lisa Kick this noon. Coach Cooper's teams have been competitive, but they have struggled in their biggest games. A losing record against Michigan and a losing bowl record as well.
And after losing both during the 2000 season, Coach John Cooper is stepping down. We have team coverage this noon.
The hunt for Ohio State's new head football coach kicked into high gear. As we first told you, Spielman was interviewed today by athletic director Andy Geiger. 10 TV has also learned that Youngstown State coach Jim Tressel has been interviewed for the job. 10 TV has confirmed that Stanford coach Tyrone Willingham is interviewed for the job.
We know Glenn Mason is back in Minnesota. We know Walt Harris is in Pittsburgh. We think the interview process is pretty much over.
10 TV Sports has learned that Oregon coach Mike Bellotti has spent the day in Columbus.
Tressel and Mason, not your cup of tea, those two. Well, how about a third name for you tonight? Oakland Raiders head coach John Gruden.
And we can show you pictures now of Jim Tressel in Columbus. We understand we have some breaking news for you right now. It involves the new football coach at the Ohio State University. And Jeff is getting out here, just ran out of the newsroom.
What we know is that it's the guy who is on the screen right now, Ohio State's new head coach, Jim Tressel. And I'm out of breath because I just ran down the hallway there.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
To the 10, to the 5, to the house, gives Ohio State the touchdown.
We were determined to find a person who could build a program that reflects the values of the Ohio State University.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head football coach at the Ohio State University, Jim Tressel.
And here's what we know at this point. Stringer developed symptoms of heat stroke at camp yesterday, but he never regained consciousness. He died around 2 o'clock this morning in a Minneapolis hospital. Corey Stringer was just 27 years old.
Our sports team's Dom Tiberi is there live. Dom?
Angela, this was a very tough day for a lot of people here in Warren as they said farewell to former Buckeye Corey Stringer. Corey Stringer was a gentle giant that had a major impact on many lives. They came to say goodbye to Corey Stringer. Family and friends, teammates and former teammates attended the private funeral here in Warren.
Former four-term Ohio Governor James Rhodes has died at OSU Medical Center this afternoon. The 91-year-old Republican who served 16 years, longer than any other governor, died from heart failure and complications from an infection at 2:45 p.m.
Now, John Byrd has always maintained his innocence. In an interview at the Mansfield Correctional Institution, I talked to Byrd about that fateful night that changed his life. Can you take us back to April 17th, 1983? Tell us what you remember of that night.
I have no memory of the night. Earlier that day, I know I went out and I started drinking, and in the process of drinking, I started taking pills and smoking marijuana and so forth.
It's a chain of events that won't soon be forgotten by many Americans, and we do have live team coverage from both Oklahoma City and Terre Haute, Indiana.
10 TV's Dave Kaler was just outside prison walls this morning in Terre Haute, and he joins us with more on McVeigh's final moments. Dave?
Well, Chuck, the bottom line here, it was strictly business today here in Terre Haute, Indiana, and the circus-like atmosphere that some people had predicted never materialized.
10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Penny Moore continues our team coverage from Oklahoma City.
This is the room where nearly 300 survivors and relatives watched Tim McVeigh take his final breath. We are live now back at Oklahoma City at the memorial, and I want you to take a look. There are now families coming to the chairs of their loved ones who died in the bomb blast. We had mentioned earlier this morning that the general public are not allowed on the grass here. This is the footprint of where the Alfred P. Murrah building once stood, and family members are the only ones who are allowed to actually go and stand by the chairs to remember their loved ones. It has been an emotional day, and I think it will continue to be so here in Oklahoma City. Reporting live, Penny Moore, 10 TV Eyewitness News.
I don't know if it's the right or the wrong thing to do. You know, that's not for me to decide. I think it'll bring a lot of closure to you know, what the families feel about him.
Actually, it might be an awful easy way out for him compared to some of the injuries and problems around here.
It's hard to believe that it's almost over. It seems almost like yesterday that this happened. It's something you don't forget, and it's something that's always going to be there. I don't know how people are going to react. I just know that they're going to be relieved that there's one less person in this world like that.
We come here to remember.
May all who leave here know the impact of violence. May this memorial offer comfort, strength, peace, hope, and serenity.
Tonight, the story of the man who tried to get away with $7 million. For 6 years, Daniel Wyatt had been working his way up to the top financial position at the American Cancer Society. He had access to millions in donor contributions.
I made very good money, but again, it was not enough.
His plan to get enough took him across continents, leaving behind only a message on the family answering machine.
Do not panic. Do not tell anybody that I've left. And if you decide that you want to come with me, there's 2 or 3 ways that it can happen.
I was to dye my hair, dye the children's hair, completely throw away everything that associated us with our past lives. Did you really believe she was going to pack up those kids and herself and come and live with a fugitive?
Completely.
Where would they go? Who would help them?
They could get foreign passports, new identities.
He had the $7 million in this overseas bank, but the FBI had an informant.
I still had that sense that I'm betraying him, I'm setting him up.
Tonight, love and betrayal, the Daniel Wyant story.
From 10 TV Eyewitness News, Central Ohio's most watched news station, this is Capital Agenda with your host, 10 TV's Dave Kaler.
A very pleasant good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this.
From 10 TV Eyewitness News, this is Health Source Magazine with your host, 10 TV's Andrea Camburn.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for Health Source Magazine. The OSU Medical Center has teamed up with 10 TV in our Commit to be Fit campaign. And one of the best ways to be fit is to stop smoking.
Narayan Pulliver can now take a walk without the urge to light up. After 9 years, he had almost given up hope that he could kick the habit. It's all next on Breakthroughs, Conquering Cancer at the James.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. We're at James Care in Dublin, the comprehensive breast health center, and a fitting place to be since October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
It's called the Copilot Speaker Plus. Advertised on TV, it claims to turn any handheld cell phone into a hands-free car speakerphone.
And plays through the big speakers on your car stereo.
Simply place your phone in the Copilot cradle, put an audio cup over the earpiece, and plug it into your dashboard cigarette lighter.
Now what I do is I tune into 96.1 FM. It says conversations can be heard directly through the car stereo system. We'll see if it works.
These three women agreed to try out some of the hottest selling hair removal products on the men in their lives.
I think they'll be in pain.
You know what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
First up, Tim and Beth Colvin, using Sally Hansen wax strips. Just rub on and rip off. The mower can be adjusted to cut at varying heights.
Drop in the pre-charged battery pack.
Always follow the safety instructions when operating the mower.
Then just push a few buttons.
It's got nice sound effects. Ooh, there it goes.
The robo-mower first tackles the edge of the property, then moves on to randomly cut the rest of the lawn. Powered by an electrically charged power pack, the robo-mow certainly draws attention.
One guy stopped and thought I was vacuuming my yard. He wanted to know what it was.
And it seems to have a mind of its own. A computer guides the robo-mow within the wire boundaries, cutting your lawn to your specifications.
And it cuts the yard just fine. It cuts as close and as well as my mechanical mower.
Retailing for $699, the robo-mow is priced higher than many gas-powered push mowers, yet costs less than most riding mowers. And after all, how many lawnmowers can you say this about?
I actually started it and went grocery shopping, came back, and it was still running just like a champ.
Banks, a lot of finance companies. The lawn people drive you crazy towards spring.
The list of companies calling her grew longer with each ring of the phone.
Look at them all. I've got 60 things on here.
And most of the calls came at inconvenient times.
You're sitting there watching Jeopardy at night. And maybe we're getting to Final Jeopardy and the damn phone rings, you know, and you think, I'll never know what the answer is.
Martha didn't think there was an answer to her telemarketing trouble either.
Okay, this is Debbie.
Until she contacted Attorney General Betty Montgomery's office
some telemarketing issues
and learned of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act.
The consumer has the ability to say, stop calling me, and if you don't, I'll take action. I'm able to, the law says I'm able to.
Using her home, we tried out several ladders to see how easy they are to use. This model was purchased from the Hummacher Schlemmer mail order catalog. At $80, it was the highest priced ladder we tried out, and the only one to require some assembly.
It's not as easy as you may think, trying to get out of a second floor window.
Constructed of metal rungs and chain links, it was difficult to hold on as the ladder swung back and forth. It took 1 minute and 43 seconds to attach the ladder and climb to the ground.
If you take it to them, if you don't make mistakes, and you keep taking it to them, hell, there's no question who will win. There's no question who will win. Now let's go out and do it. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to a brand new college football season, which of course means an all-new season of Buckeye Blitz. That's what we'll call ourselves for the next half hour. I'm Jeff Hogan. Glad to have you along with us. Hello everybody, I'm Jeff Hogan alongside Dom Tiberi, getting set to bring you all the action from today, and today marks the first time Jim Tressel will unveil his 2001 Buckeyes. Somewhere in the world, 10 o'clock Eastern time was midnight elsewhere, and that's when the Bucks had their curfew and bed check and celebrated their New Year's Eve. Now they are tucked away and getting ready for their game tomorrow.
From the 10 TV Eyewitness News sports team, this is Memorial 2001.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Jeff Hogan. This is Memorial 2001. We've got a great edition for you tonight. We've got third round coverage to wrap up for you.
And of course, is definitely showing a little bit of his teeth today.
I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Now these days are gone, I'm not so selfish.
All right, let's get this done. Gotta open the valves. I'm gonna run down all the way around to over there.
You could call Mike Sims.
Oh, look at that pressure. That's a beautiful thing.
The Iceman.
They call me all kinds of stuff, but nothing I can say here.
He and his crew at Nationwide Arena have the art of making ice down to a science.
The thermodynamics of water hasn't changed, you know, ever.
Pro football is a mirror of early America, reflecting toughness, courage, and self-denial.
There he is! Whoa! Whoa! Good job! Good job! That's the way to make a play out there, buddy. Nice job.
My name's Linda Ream. My job is special stamping. I put all the names of the teams for Super Bowl.
And their minds are still sharp, even if their skills aren't quite what they used to be.
It's good for us, you know what I mean? Get some of them squeaky bones working in there.
I got problems with hearts and all that stuff too, just like everybody. We got guys playing with knee replacements and hip replacements, and some guys can run and some can't, but as long as they're out there trying and, you know, have a good time. These 60-something superstars play their home games in the shadow of the Senior Center here in Hilliard. Reaching the twilight of their sports careers, their fight to stay fit flies in the face of their sponsor. That's because their sponsor doesn't profit from longevity. Tidd Funeral Home supports this team. We get a lot of comments when I see who sponsors us. A lot of people get a laugh out of that.
Is it too much of a stretch to say that they may be cheating death by staying in shape?
Well, I hope they are. I hope they are. That's what we want. We all want good health. We're here when people need us, but we just need to get people off the sofas and get out and get some good exercise.
He'll get my business someday, but hopefully it'll be a while yet. I like Rick, but I don't want to see him in business on a business end for a long time yet.
It isn't what I lost that counts, it's what I've got left.
He inspires me.
Put her in there for me, son.
My grandfather and I have a great relationship, and if it wasn't for my grandfather, I would have never started bowling.
It takes grit. I'm not a great bowler, but I love the challenge. Are the pins down there?
Yeah, you got full rack. Your name's up. You're ready to go.
Okie dokie. I can see nothing, not even shadows.
He uses his left stump to run along the rail.
I wish I had a hand to wrap around it and line me up better.
Hopefully he keeps it on the lane. That's the object for him.
Walk, walk, walk.
Linda is a mother who's opened her heart and her home to children in need.
You ready for your nap? Juggling everything. Some days gets a little hectic.
Hectic, but well worth it. Linda's home is a transition center called Progeny, designed to help families with medically fragile children prepare to go home.
Just seeing them walk out with a smile on their face and actually holding their child and overcoming all those fears and become mom and dad is, I can't explain. It's awesome.
Not only does Linda take care of other people's children,
Mommy!
she takes care of her own. Linda and her husband Tom have adopted 20 children with special needs.
He can hook it to the left, slice it to the right, but he's got to hit it 100 yards.
They go outside the flags, they don't count. As you can tell, there's always some that don't even count.
It's far from an ordinary day on the golf course.
I'm gonna have to step it up a little bit.
Pete is hoping this day will be recorded in history, in the Guinness Book of World Records.
What is the world record?
There is none. I'm just creating one, basically.
The most drives in 24 hours. It's never been done before, but he's confident.
Doing fine, Pete.
With a very good friend on the sidelines.
That's all right, Pete.
And wise words from behind.
Just keep yourself a nice, smooth pace. There you are.
But there is another driving force behind Pete Jones.
93 Country, WKKJ, says he's also looking at this as a way to help the terrorist attack victims.
He's raising money for fallen heroes in the attacks.
The whole purpose for coming here was to get to a TV quick enough so we could see what was going on. I think we almost live with a false sense of security, that nothing like this could happen. And then you come in and you see this, and it just shatters everything.
In a North Columbus office building, Aon insurance workers were sent home in grief. Fellow Aon workers filled several upper floors in World Trade Center No. 2. And at local schools, playgrounds were deserted. Parents began picking up their children as soon as they learned of the attacks.
So I can go home and have prayer, give blood, just be with family.
Instead of huddling around departure screens, stranded passengers were glued to an airport TV. Their expressions tell the story. A terrorist attack had left them grounded.
I'm just trying to find a hotel. I'm on my way to my mother's wake, and I'm not going to make it. Now, we do have team coverage to bring you with 10 TV Eyewitness News anchor Dave Kaler live in Washington.
Angela, I can't tell you, it is like a ghost.
Roger McCoy monitoring the scene from New York City.
A massive cleanup operation and rescue effort is still
10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Christine Dobbin.
Tonight, law enforcement officers lined the roadway next to the crash site with...
Jim Donovan is also with us here. He's a native New Yorker. Jim, give us your thoughts and what you saw here today.
Well, Jerry, 30 years I lived in this city, and when Roger and I were coming out of the subway earlier today, most New Yorkers, you look up when you first come out of the subway to figure out where you are, to get your positioning. And you always look, especially down in that area, for the World Trade Towers. I mean, they weren't there.
Rescue operations resumed here just about an hour and 15 minutes ago. That was because some fires broke out earlier this morning, and a lot of streets were cordoned off. We had a tough time getting in here today as compared to last night.
Right now, we're trying to get people who have come in to help, from the community, signed up so they can help do.
Okay. What kind of jobs are you having them do?
Construction, electrical, medical, civilians who are doing, clerical, helping with the supplies.
Columbus has a helping hand in the disaster here tonight. 4 Columbus firefighters, and they want their families back home to know they're okay and that their work is something to be proud of. 4 Columbus firefighters on a break from the toughest work of their lives, picking through Armageddon in search of survivors.
6 or 8 inches deep of paper and crumbled concrete. Until you see it, you just can't imagine it.
We are used to dealing with these kind of things, death, destruction, those kind of things on a daily basis, but not continuously.
Kevin, the FAA gave Port Columbus the go-ahead to fly just before noon today, but with that, the tightest of security measures.
Tonight we boarded one of the boats taking emergency and rescue crews across the Hudson, traveling into the hellish and surreal world that just days ago was the World Trade Center.
Everybody's kind of like afraid when you step out of the boat, you'll see.
Yes, it's really beautiful. Just really makes your heart stir.
The hearts of some 15,000 Central Ohioans were stirred.
God done shed his grace on thee.
Now when I see a flag, it reminds me of our country's bravery against terrorism and all the innocent people who died.
From sea